Now, one, two, one, two, one, two. A lot of talk has been going on about hip hop being dead. Now, all of us blacks know, we know that it's dead. The question is, does everybody else know? Hip hop is not charting anymore. Hip hop is not on the radio like that anymore. We have no videos. They don't want to see your videos. Hip hop is on YouTube where you don't make any money. You don't have shows. You don't have performances. It's a lot missing. And it was a dominant culture. And, you know, it's so bad that even, you know, people like Matt Walsh, he's like, yo, hip hop is dead. And they get to stand on this type of business. So in today's video, we're going to hear what he's saying, and then we're going to look at some other people talk about it. And obviously, I'm on board with everyone else. But the question is, why? Why did hip hop die? Why did hip hop? Well, let's break it down, man. You know, but let's hear what Brother Walsh had to say first. Anybody want to holler? I got the link in there. So let's go.
Even when rap music has fallen off a cliff, and I think recently it was like the first time in decades that there was not a single rap song in the top 40, and that was a few weeks ago. I'm not sure if that's still the case, but it's not as popular as it used to be. I think there's a lot of reasons for that, and I mean, one of the reasons is that every genre of music has become, shall we say, urbanized, and which means that it's kind of like rap doesn't have a lane anymore. You don't.
Every genre. Now, you've never heard this sort of. You've never heard this reason. Every other music has become urbanized. We call that stealing. But nevertheless, it's true. And this is where we come with the fake rappers and the fake. So the purity of the craft has definitely been dismantled.
Don't really need it. Even when country that. And I mean, one of the reasons is that every genre of music has become, shall we say, urbanized, and which means that it's kind of like rap doesn't have a lane anymore. We don't really need it. Even when country now sounds like urban, now it's like, well, what do we need rap for? That's one of the problems. But another problem is that it's kind of that. It's just kind of, it's sort of lazy. Like if you're performing a rap, at least make the words rhyme. Right? That's the whole point. I mean, it's a very lyrical form of art form, and I do believe it is an art form. It can be an art form.
Wow. After we've dominated the airwaves for decades, this is what we've been reduced to. This is what hip hop has been reduced to.
It's kind of that. It's just kind of, it's sort of lazy. Like if you're performing a rap, at least make the words rhyme. Right? That's the whole point. I mean, it's a very lyrical form of art form, and I do believe it is an art form. It can be an art form, but it's very lyrical, and so you have to actually rhyme. And I'm listening to that, and he tries to rhyme Republican with folks touching them. It doesn't quite work. I mean, it's hard to come up with a word that rhymes with Republican. I'll agree with you, but maybe just find a different line. And some people have wondered what Jasmine Crockett is really up to here. She's launching this campaign in Texas, a Trump state, a red state. Her entire platform is that she hates Trump and Trump hates her. And she's running on that platform in, again, a Trump state. So what's the strategy here? What's the point? And the most obvious answer is that she's low IQ. She's a very stupid person. And
there you go, guys. This is what, when you put stupid stuff like this in front of these whiteys, they get to call you stupid.
Because they think she'll win. Listen, thought I told y'all we ain't never scared. Now look who name on the docket. Got 2 words for every racist bigot. Jasmine Crockett. Y'all hear the words? Me, I hope my money goes to side that isn't trying to say affordability is a hope. She stand on business, awesome toes. So don't need no more bad bill.
Okay, so
some of the words.
Yeah, not exactly a serious campaign. Just to summarize, not only do you have a bad rap song, but the guy performing it doesn't even remember the words. And rap has this is kind of a whole other topic, but rap music has fallen off a cliff. And I think recently it was like the first time in decades that there was not a single rap song in the top 40. And that was a few weeks ago. I'm not sure if that's still the case, but it's not as popular as it used to be. I think there's a lot of reasons for that. And I mean, one of the reasons is that every genre of music has become, shall we say, urbanized, and which means that it's kind of like rap doesn't have a lane anymore. We don't really need it. Even when country now sounds like urban.
There you go, guys. This is a good analysis of what's happened there. I know you don't want to be part of the black community and stuff like that, but rap is a part of it, and we let it die.
I ain't gonna cap y'all. Hip hop is dead, and we need to be mourning because this shit has been dying for a while. Like everybody going to jail, everybody dying, everybody going through legal shit. But baby ain't dropped a banger because his ass is scared of the feds. He was supposed to drop the leaks, he ain't never drop it. What the fuck is going on? Everybody keep pushing their shit back. Literally, the only thing scared of hip hop is like Gunna, G Herbo, Youngboy, and really all the female artists. But most niggas, men don't listen to them.
Homie, female artists are not saving hip hop. Let's be clear.
But it's getting to a point where I start turning on Glorilla. But everybody is turning to R&B, which is crazy because I remember a couple years ago, motherfuckers was saying R&B.
Ain't no R&B, brother. You don't know what R&B is. But he is telling the truth. Hip hop is dead.
I never take anybody serious that says hip hop is dead because to me, they're like the people that say gaming is dead, but they only play 2K and Call of Duty because most likely they mainstream hip hop. That's what they're talking about when they say that hip hop is dead. They only listen to people like Drake, 21 Savage, and all these other people that are super popular, male or female rapper. And you can always point them out as being a casual hip hop listener because they always talk about the same tired talking points. Every single time they say, oh, there's no substance in hip hop. Hip hop is only about shaking ass, throwing money, getting diamond chains and shit and killing people. Because if you listen to anything other than the mainstream, you would know that there's been so many amazing projects that's dropped this year.
I mean, that's true. That's fair. That is fair. But when we say hip hop is dead, we don't talk about the music, brother. Hip hop is a self-manifesting cultural, impactful scenario that Black Americans created. it always went past the music, brother. It always went to dance, graffiti, art, fashion, money, education. You know, in the early days, stopped the violence, but you know, it's been more violent. Um, so yes, it's not about what hot projects dropped this year. We used to have gatherings, battles, freestyle ciphers, bars, cause just it was just a whole culture. You understand? Way more than just the music.
Dro, El Custo, Niante, Mike, Earl. I could go on, bro. I could really go on. Young Nudie, bro. Nudie be talking about the shit that they talk about, but Nudie does it in a way that's consistent, and he's always making it hit, bro. He be talking about the same shit every single time, but that shit clap every time. I don't care. Also, Sada Baby, bro. Sada Baby.
So he's right. You know, every day people are trying to rap and get on and everything, but at the same time, the actual culture, hip hop, not the songs.
Here's why hip hop is dying, for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that it's not. You have to listen to more music. If you feel like hip hop is dying, you are just not putting in enough effort to find newer hip hop acts, newer artists, people who are trying to do different things creatively. You're not putting in the effort. You're not really trying. If you feel like hip hop is going stale, it's because your interest has gone stale. Your interest in finding new music has gone stale.
Now, these guys, these younger guys make a great point from a musical standpoint. But that was one of the keys, and that's what Matt Walsh was talking about. Hip hop was so influential, every other genre has taken it, which is more mainstream. And it wasn't about how mainstream or how rich, it was more so about hip hop being everywhere, from the way you walk, talk, everywhere you go. It wasn't something that you had to go find.
Hip hop is never dying. Your curiosity has died.
No.
That is what's dying.
We had dedicated radio stations dedicated to hip hop because it was alive. Okay? And it wasn't mainstream. Yes, they had mainstream formats, but it was such an alive culture that you had different slots for the radio, mainstream, after hours, unsigned hype, all sorts of different hip hop that gave people inspiration to want to be in it, sort of like basketball, you know, kids get into it young and want to grow up and be into it. That is what you call a culture. You see, where you have an opportunity, like say like a basketball league or whatever the case is, to get in. Just that, you know, a lot of things made it easy and then a lot of things made it difficult.
Whatever complaints you have about hip hop, there's somebody right now making the music you want to listen to. I can guarantee it. I'm 99.9% sure that there is somebody making the music you want to make right now. Unless you yourself are a rapper and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna make the music I want to make. If that's you, where you're just this super music genius and you're creating something that nobody's ever heard before, then you know what? Sure, I guess you can say, yeah, man, hip hop is just going stale. But I can assure you, the people who are making these complaints aren't listening to enough hip hop. And if you are one of these people who do believe that hip hop is dead, I want you to tell me what you want from a hip hop artist. What you want to hear a rapper talk about.
Yeah, see, this young dude, he needs to understand that hip hop was more than putting on your headphones. You see, it was way greater.
Trying to convince people that hip hop and rap is dead or is dying is super Republican. And let me tell you why. If we're being real, if anything, female rap has been dominating the charts for the past 3 to 4 years. You have Cardi B, of course. You have Meg Thee Stallion.
And that's a problem. That is called the death of hip hop.
Doja Cat, you have Glorilla, you have Mana Leo. It's honestly been the women that have been keeping the rap charts alive. And then, of course,
now, when you think about it, It's the same thing that's wrong with everybody. They believe that they can keep hip hop alive. And that is a surefire sign that hip hop is dead. Because it's impossible for them to bring forth the culture. See, hip hop was, let me tell you what hip hop was. Hip hop was a simple format. You and your crew was rapping. You thought you could make it big. You put in work. Once you got to a place where somebody could be signed, they would only sign 50 Cent because he was the hot one. He made a promise. I'm going to put you guys on my album and you're next up after me. This dream and the story comes true. You get Lloyd Banks, Tony Yayo, Young Buck, G Unit, and everybody. Brothers have their own careers. Brothers make their certain amount of money. 50 Cent becomes the bigger star, but everybody still paid. Everybody still has a place in hip-hop history. And they all was afforded a great opportunity. Depends on what the fans did. Or after time, what machines that was backing them had done. And it's just really what happened. That was hip hop 101. When you deal with female hip hop, it's not a scenario where you're going to say, well, Glorilla and them got G Unit, the female G Unit after her. She got some nice rappers after her, which are going to keep hip hop moving forward and build different sort of fans. Because a lot of people who like Lloyd Banks may not like Young Buck. And so you're grabbing all of these fans into one, say, Glorilla unit. But see, female rappers wasn't taught the basic culture of hip-hop. Hip-hop's not about making songs. It's about putting everybody on long as you nice enough. But in this new climate, they got all these other things being said. Stuff like this.
You have Glorilla, you have Mana Leo. It's honestly been the women that have been keeping the rap charts alive. And then, of course, you have Kendrick Lamar. Not Like Us was the soundtrack of the summer. People like to say that hip hop and rap is falling off, but really it's just not being talked about in the same way. What do you think about?
Well, why? Because hip hop is not about just music. It was a whole culture. Like you could listen to, well, back in our day, you could listen to 50 Cent and then go see 50 Cent at a club that weekend or that month or whatever. You understand? Guess who else you could see? Go see Jay-Z somewhere, and then you go see T.I. And before that, different rappers. It was such a beautiful thing. That is what we call culture. What happens with the culture? People outside selling T-shirts and different things and dancing and doing Doodle Brown, Uncle Luke, in a circle over there and stripping their clothes and dancing over there. It was a culture, stuff that you could remember. Nobody gives a damn about what the next song is. It was a whole big thing. Because if your songs, say hypothetically, which songs really always sold, but as far as at least gold or whatever, anything that was decent from an album perspective, it was so much more than that. You know, they might have, wore certain clothes that took off. Like back in the days, brothers started buying those Oakland Raider hats, those black hats with NWA. And then, 50 Cent came out with those different sort of tank tops. It wasn't the regular cut tank tops anymore. So it's a lot of things that hip hop showcase way more than music that these people just don't have no clue about.
A lot of the commentary that's surrounding music is coming from outside of the culture. If you know, you know. And what I mean by that is that there has been a lot of overwhelmingly white commentary on music lately.
Okay. Now, that is important, sister. You may think that is not. But let me show you what this white man was saying. And they always take it there, but it's totally silly.
For that. And one of the reasons is that every topic, but rap music has fallen off a cliff. And I think recently it was like the first time in decades that there was not a single rap song in the top 40. And that was a few weeks ago. I'm not sure if that's still the case, but it's not as popular as it used to be. I think there's a lot of reasons for that. And one of the reasons is that every genre of music has become, shall we say, urbanized.
Every genre of music has become urbanized. A different take on the dying or life support system of hip hop. Different take, but I would say valid. every other, genre has become urbanized. Okay. Well, we said, what's that song? The country song. Everybody in the club get tipsy. Straight stole a hip hop song, took it country, and it's like he created the shit his own self. Now, you say, well, that's hip hop manifesting itself, but in this new climate with the media and everything, homie don't get no credit for coming up with that out of his thought, out of his mind. This new country, so different genres have urbanized it, you see? And when Pharrell, call him hip hop, because he had some shit with Jay-Z and a bunch of other people. When he went and started doing all that rock and roll and all that other stuff, urbanizing different genres. But hip hop was always like that. You could blend any music with some drum taps and stuff like that. Brothers start spitting, and you just never know. That's just hip hop. But yeah.
That and one of the reasons is that every genre of music has become, shall we say, urbanized, and which means that it's kind of like rap doesn't have a lane anymore. We don't really need it.
Rap doesn't have a lane anymore. We don't really need it. Now, we're in the hip hop community. You hear this from the outside of the community, you're like, damn. You realize, hey, we ain't buying records out the trunk and all the fly stuff. We just, brothers put it out on the internet. Nobody's buying a physical. We don't have that sort of monetary support. They damn sure took the clubs away up top, up here in New York.
Even when country now sounds like urban, now it's like, well, what do we need rap for? That's one of the problems. But another problem is that it's kind of that. It's just it's sort of lazy. Like if you're performing a rap, at least make the words rhyme. Right? That's the whole point. I mean, it's a very lyrical form of art form, and I do believe it is an art form. It can be an art form.
I do believe it's an art form. It can be an art form. If who rapping, nigga? If who's rapping, then it's an art form. But this is what we let hip hop be. We never gave a fuck about hip hop. Y'all know what hip hop was. It was show. Let's talk about it. Bling bling. Let's talk about bling bling. Where the white people took those words from the hip hop thought. See, because it was always bigger than just the music. Yeah, it come from the music, but a lot of things came from that music video. Sayings, culture, dance moves, artwork, shit that you could fuck around. You know how they do black market and sell in your neighborhood? That's a whole bunch. They took bling bling from us.
Form of art form, and I do believe it is an art form. It can be an art form, but it's very lyrical, and so you have to actually rhyme. And I'm listening to that, and he tries to rhyme Republican with folks touching them. It doesn't quite work. I mean, it's hard to come up with a word that rhymes with Republican. I'll agree with you, but
there we go. Rap connoisseur. These are the rap connoisseurs now. This is what we let happen to hip hop. When people like him, they know they had to stay out of the way of hip hop. But this is what happened, guys.
You know what I realized? Hip hop is officially dead. And I'm going to tell you, I'll give you an example of hip hop culture and when it changed. And definitely in hindsight, I believe that we got it wrong. But Kwame had his beef with B.I.G., right? And B.I.G. came up with that, I think, a diss and then a video.
This person don't know what the hell they talking about. Let's go.
Yo, lyricism is dead. Nobody cares about lyricism anymore. Like Corday sold 21K. He's on the verge to selling 21K. He ain't even sell 21K. Yeah, think about that. That means people hear good music, and that's the minority now. People are like listening to good music like, ew, what is this? This guy makes good music? What? Like, why does it sound good?
And it's funny. Because I've never taken this sort of approach of just even seeing what other people say about hip hop, and they have some interesting takes, and that's the best part of hip hop. What KRS-One said was, "I am hip hop manifesting itself," and we all have a great take inside of what was a great culture, and it's always pleasant to talk hip hop. Always argumentative, it's always fun, and it's always great to hear others' take.
How bad it is. We've gotten to a point where people want trash now. They want something that has no substance, isn't talking about anything, just can make they little booty shake. What is going on?
Hip hop was a serious thing, guys. You know, hip hop was serious, man. I mean, it was a thing, man. It really, really was. This is bad, man. It is painful.
People keep saying, "Oh, hip hop's dead. Hip hop's dead. Hip hop's falling off. Hip hop's not cool anymore because there's no songs in the top 200 on Billboard." What really just happened is that hip hop is just being contained to black and brown spaces again, right? In the 90s, you had a lot of people who listened to hip hop because it was cool. They became cool because they were teenagers and young adults listen to NWA or Wu-Tang or
No. First of all, is no hip hop nigga wearing no fucking acid wash t-shirt like that. That's first and foremost. And not pure hip hop. I don't give a fuck. You could be a listener. But everyone keeps talking about the music. That's a part of hip hop. It's one of the money generators, but it's plenty clubs, strip clubs, bars, all sorts of people made millions off of hip hop. Never made a song in their life. Come on. So they don't get it.
Outkast or Bone Thugs and Harmony or whatever it was, depending on where you're from, right? But they were never like true hip hop fans or hip hop heads. It was just cool at the moment. A lot of kids over the last, from 2015 to 2025, there were a lot of teenagers and young adults who in their coming of age moments were like, "Oh my God, hip hop's so cool." But weren't really hip hop fans. They just listened to what was popular on the radio, what was popular in the parties. And that's okay. We got a lot of good projects this year, man. I mean, from the OGs coming out, Nas, Raekwon.
These guys still don't get it, man. Hip hop was, how do you call it? Hip hop was interactive. It wasn't in your fucking headphones. It was interactive. You know?
Bring back rappers having to write their own.
Every single day you get on.
But I will give the young boys props for at least speaking up.
I don't think hip hop is dying at all. I think the hip hop that niggas love is dying. The hip hop that people are holding on to, that they won't mold, break, or bend, is dying. I feel like we are in a crisis of old niggas in hip hop. There is no more youth anywhere in hip hop being embraced and put to the forefront.
Why? Because there is no interaction. There is no gathering. We had everything from, I'm going to say, cookouts to basketball tournaments at the park. Like, it's so much. It was so much, man. It was so much, guys, that these little niggas are stuck with fucking headphones in their ears and never understood the truth of hip hop. Because even when they talk about, say, NBA Youngboy, shit, that man, so he's like he's never gonna be a DMX, but he performs for the most part alone, from what I've seen. You know? It wasn't like that. We always had the Dipset, G-Unit, Mobb Deep. Like, it was always a crew. Shit, Heavy D. Everybody had a damn entourage. That's where all this whole entourage shit come from. So it wasn't about sitting around in headphones. It was interactive.
I'm going to give you examples of everybody else that's doing it, other genres. Let's start with pop. We grew up right? I just not even being like a pop dude, right? I remember the Coldplay, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Maroon 5 era. They was the hottest. Hey, don't fuck around. They're on top. Paramore, of course. Like you remember that era, but then you also remember Ed Sheeran, Harry Styles wave. You remember even between that was like Jonas Brothers. Other people had primes, and all of those primes were always to service the youth. Meaning, Coldplay got to the point where they got the fuck out the way. Where not necessarily they got out of the way, but it wasn't. Oh, this is for the 20-year-olds. This is for the 19-year-olds. This is about to be it. But guess what? This is the face of pop now. They done gave hair.
Well, the answer to this brother's question is simple. It was more of a G-Unit thing. So if Kendrick Lamar came out and he had the biggest record, say like 50 Cent had in the club, you knew what was coming next. More 50 Cent and more G-Unit, not just Kendrick Lamar. And if Kendrick Lamar don't drop anything, then we're dead. See, hip-hop always has something next up. And that's one of the key elements that has been taken away. You know, that's one of the key elements. It's from day one. You had EPMD. Who was coming after that? You were saying K Solo. Who was coming after that? Redman. It was always somebody coming next. See? You know? It's crazy, man. What we had Big Daddy Kane and Little Daddy Shane. You had Snoop Dogg and Bow Wow. Snoop Dogg and the Dog Pound. It was always something next. Okay? That was one of the cornerstones of hip hop. It was like 101. You always had something next. It was never just you. You know? That's why they don't understand it. And it's a lot of times why we're always upset when the groups break up or whatever the case is. Because we will always wonder what's next. We want more hip hop, but things are different now.
Gave Harry Styles the king of pop moniker, and he's in a whole different generation of pop than even Coldplay. When you think about R&B is not the same. Beyonce was the #1 girl. Remember, Ashanti, whatever. We had all these ways of R&B, and what happens? You get new artists that come in and become the forefront.
Victoria Monet is up there now.
Yeah, not like the, oh, you hot, but they still the wave of the whole genre. Right now, Caleb.
I don't know, man. I don't know. When we start talking about R&B, clearly R&B was huge. I wouldn't say it's anywhere near it. And one thing, what are we missing out of R&B? The boy groups, Boys to Men, and all that stuff. Like, men don't even get to sing and be romantic to the bitches from a black R&B standpoint. And when you see these dummies talking about it, look who they show. So the lovers are Ed Sheeran, no black men.
Is, I think, 7th on the whatever. Sorry, Mariah the Scientist with her shit, right?
Yeah.
It's a whole new crop of R&B girlies that the young girls get to experience, and it gets to be heralded as the face of R&B. Same with country, y'all. Y'all remember the Luke Bryan era. Now we're into the Morgan Wallen, Jelly Roll, new acts. On the women's side, it's the same thing. Hip hop is the
no. They still then they cancel the BET Awards, so we just getting like organs ripped out of us. You see? Well, they get new AI organs and new shit. These, you know, but yeah, that is all contributing factors. You know, all that shit, man. Man, it's worse than I thought when you start to hear these people talk. You know, missing it because they've turned hip hop into a headphone. It was a speaker box. It turned into headphones. If that's the best, I think that's the best way I could put it. I think that's the best way I could put it. They've turned hip hop from a speaker boombox to headphones. That would be an accurate description of the death of hip hop, where we could play it loud and proud to where self-admittedly we rather play it, you know, on an individual headphones. And that's horrible, bro. You know, and what did that come with? What did that come with? Now we don't dance. Damn sure ain't dancing with no girls. And when we was dancing with girls, girls would sweat. You know? So hopefully we got a little bit of points across with this little hip hop thing right here. I think I want to do some more hip hop stuff, man. Maybe we can get into it, you know, when we get more viewers one day. But yeah, I definitely would like to hear brothers' views, and I want to go through some of more of this TikTok stuff to see what these people got to say, but on different sides of hip hop. See, because it's like so many different factors of hip hop. But we'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at it and see what happens. So I'm going to come back with another show, but we will be covering ICE raids. And if I come back at 9, we'll try to cover the Trump stuff. They say he might declare war. So we'll see what's good. And thank you. Thank you for watching.